Stop. Don't change that channel. Because what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes could be the most important thing you watch all year. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm saying it because thousands of Americans, smart, hard-working people who spent decades building their savings, walked into retirement thinking they were ready. And within 2 years, some of them were quietly terrified, running numbers in the middle of the night, wondering if they made the biggest mistake of their lives. And here's the cold truth nobody tells you before you hand in that resignation letter. Being ready for retirement on paper and being truly ready are two completely different things. Welcome back to Senior Pulse US, the channel where we don't sugarcoat what retirement really looks like. Today, we're going deep. We have 5 questions, just 5, that will tell you more about your retirement readiness than any calculator or financial advisor appointment ever has. And if you can't answer all 5 with confidence, you might want to hold off on that retirement party. Let's get into it. The first question is this: do you actually know your real number? Not the number your financial advisor told you 10 years ago. Not the number you estimated on a napkin after a good dinner. Your real number. The one that accounts for what life actually costs when you stop working. Here's where most people go wrong. They sit down, they calculate their mortgage, their groceries, their utilities, and they feel good. They feel prepared. But they forget about the expenses that sneak up on you in retirement like a thief in the night. Travel, home repairs, helping adult children, upgrading a car because your knees can't handle public transportation anymore. The slow creep of medical bills that aren't fully covered by Medicare. Studies have consistently shown that retirees underestimate their actual spending by anywhere from 15 to 30% in the first decade. That's not a rounding error. That's a crisis waiting to happen. So before you do anything else, sit down this week and build a real, honest, line-by-line retirement budget. Not a hopeful one, a realistic one. Second question, and this one stings a little. What is your plan if your spouse dies first? Nobody wants to think about this. I understand that completely. But ignoring it doesn't make it less likely. And the financial shock of losing a spouse is something that devastates thousands of retirees every single year. When one partner passes, Social Security income drops. Sometimes pension income drops or disappears entirely. But the bills don't care. The mortgage doesn't pause. The insurance premiums keep coming. If you are in a 2-income household, even a 2 Social Security household, and you have never sat down and mapped out what your finances look like with only one of those checks coming in, you are not ready. Full stop. This is not pessimism. This is protection. The couples who have this conversation are the ones who don't end up blindsided. Here at Senior Pulse US, we always say, plan for the life you hope for, but protect against the life you fear. Third question. Have you thought seriously about what you're going to do all day? I know. That sounds almost silly next to the financial stuff, but hear me out, because this one destroys more retirements than bad investments do. Research on retirement and mental health is clear, and it is alarming. Retirees who don't have structure, purpose, and social connection face dramatically higher rates of depression, cognitive decline, and even early death. We are not built to just stop. We're not wired to go from 40 years of purpose and routine to watching television 7 hours a day. The people who thrive in retirement, and I mean truly thrive, they go in with a plan. Volunteer work, part-time consulting, a passion project they've been putting off for 20 years, a fitness routine that gets them out of the house, a community they're plugged into. If your retirement plan is just relax, that's not a plan. That's a gap where your identity used to be. Think carefully about who you are when the job title is gone. What's left? What fills the space? Because that answer matters just as much as your 401k balance. Fourth question. And this is the one that trips up even financially savvy people. Are you truly prepared for healthcare costs before Medicare kicks in? If you're thinking about retiring before age 65, this question could make or break everything. Because the gap between your last day of employer health insurance and your first day of Medicare eligibility can cost you more than you ever imagined. Private health insurance for a couple in their early 60s can run anywhere from $1,500 to over $2,000 a month, depending on where you live and what coverage you need. That's $24,000 a year or more just to stay insured before you pay a single deductible or copay. And even after Medicare starts, it doesn't cover everything. Dental, vision, hearing aids, long-term care. These are the expenses that eat through retirement savings faster than almost anything else, and they catch people completely off guard. If you haven't specifically planned for healthcare, not just "I'll figure it out," but an actual strategy with actual numbers, you are not ready to retire yet. And that's okay. Now you know. Now you can fix it. Fifth question, the final one, and in some ways the most revealing. Have you stress-tested your plan against a bad market? Because here's the thing about retiring at the wrong time. Sequence of returns risk is real, and it is brutal. If the market drops 30% in your first 2 years of retirement and you're pulling money out every month, the damage to your long-term financial health is completely different from someone who experiences that same drop while still working and contributing. You need to look at your plan and ask, what happens if the market tanks the year I retire? What happens if interest rates stay unpredictable? What happens if inflation runs hot for 3 or 4 years in a row, like we've already seen it do? If your retirement plan only works in good conditions, it's not a retirement plan. It's a gamble. The people who make it through the rough patches are the ones who built flexibility into their strategy, a cash reserve, a willingness to reduce spending temporarily, income streams that don't depend entirely on the stock market. So there they are. 5 questions. And if any of them made you shift in your seat, if any of them made you realize you don't actually have a solid answer, that's not a failure. That's exactly the kind of clarity that saves people. Retirement is one of the most significant decisions you will ever make. There is no shame in taking another 6 months, another year, to make sure you're doing it right. The shame would be rushing into something that costs you your peace of mind for the next 20 or 30 years. Here at Senior Pulse US, our whole mission is to make sure you walk into this next chapter with your eyes wide open, not just hopeful, but genuinely prepared. If this video helped you, please hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps us reach more seniors who need this information. Subscribe to Senior Pulse US if you haven't already, because we cover the stuff that actually matters, the real conversations about money, health, and life after work that nobody else is having. And drop a comment below. Tell me, which of these 5 questions caught you off guard? I read every single comment, and I want to know where you are on this journey. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.